And for each one of those, we set a reward. Kids are already rewarding themselves a lot. Jennifer was talking about the 3 hours on Facebook, things like that. And they do. So what we point out is, you can still do this stuff that you love, but you just do your other stuff first, and then you reward yourself with it. And what we're also finding out is that the internal reward system in the brain with individuals with ADHD, it doesn't work effectively. So something that might give you or I just internal satisfaction of a job well done, they don't really have that drive. So, doing my homework and feeling good about it, whoop-de-doo, So they kind of need that little extra thing. And it doesn't have to be, a new car or anything like that. We always have mom and dad approve, but it can be something like, dad taking you to the movies on the weekend, or getting to go out with your friends somewhere, or a dinner out with the family. Something that isn't too pricey. And then what we're doing with those long-term goals that we've set is we're breaking them down into weekly objectives. And here it's really important to play with the steps. It's baby steps. Making sure that if your goal is to use an agenda, maybe your first week's objective is to go to Staples and buy an agenda. And then you really celebrate that. And praise, I cannot tell you how important that is. And so we really celebrate that, and we also give them a small reward. And we also add here consequences. All developed from the kid. Again, Jennifer was saying it needs to be salient to them. It needs to be coming from them. Not mom takes away the cell phone, but I hand my cell phone over to mom if I don't do this. And that's the big difference. So we're just breaking these goals down. So again, that's really where the variation in time can come. Some kids, honestly, they just really kind of needed those tools, how to better organize their stuff. And okay, we built up to it, 6 weeks, you got it, you're off and running. Other kids struggle a little bit more, and maybe there's a little bit more that, therapeutic component that needs to be in there. They're, struggling with friends or self-esteem, things like that. So it goes on a little bit longer. And often, sometimes kids will meet their first goals, and we set new long-term goals. So it really just can be anything. Okay, so I think that's about it for this. And then, go back one more. Yeah, so we have stages, but basically before the intake session, we're kind of collecting the data, making sure you're right. Middle sessions, final sessions, and case notes. Okay. So as I mentioned, where the therapy line comes in is in behavioral therapy, which is kind of strictly about behaviors, setting goals, things like that. So it's similar in that fashion. Social learning theory is about kind of observational learning, operant conditioning, things like that. And then cognitive theory is about, Jennifer was talking about metacognition. That's kind of where we're coming in with that. That it's about being aware of how you're changing. And so we're always reflecting on that. It's not just, did you meet your goal? It's, how did you meet your goal? Or what worked for you this week? What didn't work for you this week? And a lot of times the answer is, I don't know, when it's a teenager. So you really have to explore that with them, and so they can better understand it. Because if they're not understanding it, they're kind of just doing the steps. So you really have to integrate all those things. And again, the intervention that I'm talking about here must be by a trained mental health professional.